How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today, pretty much carrying on from where I got to yesterday. So I've just built this dam for that guy, and the next one I want to do is clear out debris near the Watergate, get rid of all that stuff. You've got to pluck a load of stuff out of the water, so you're going to need a crane of some sort. Something even like the mule would probably do it just fine, but given that I ended up bringing this thing out to rescue the logger that I got stuck, but then this got stuck, so I had to send in the goddamn horse to rescue everything. Yeah, now I am on this side of the river. It was basically just driving up. I cut the journey out. It was cool. This thing, I don't mind it, to be honest. But yeah, it's fairly slow and steady. It ain't in a rush. Yeah, so when you get here, though, activate that. And there's loads of stuff in the water, mainly logs. I mean, again, they're not really much of a... I don't know, pricey commodity in this particular map because there are so many trees, but if you did want some free logs without having to bring a logger out and all that sort of stuff, then they are here. Yeah, again, I'll cut the vast majority of this out, but mainly logs and a few of those kind of cable spool things. When you do this, though, it lowers the water level. However, I've had a glitch, and my water level's gone back up, so if anyone could let me know, it was like, has your water level stayed down constantly? Because look, there's a little animation here. Dam receding water reveals more woes. And then when I look around, you can tell like the water has gone down. It's a little bit lower on that dam there. Where I've just fished all that stuff out of, that's low enough that there's pretty much just bushes and that you can see. If you look at my dam, it's actually lower on one side than the other, which makes me wonder if you didn't build this dam and you still cleared that Watergate, would it also drain the water of the side where like I cross? But yeah, you can see along here there's land exposed in the bottom right, there's another patch there. That water is disconnected to the little path that runs off to the left of it. Like I said, that's sitting lower, so definitely confirmed lower. I'm going to build that road, by the way, as my next mission. I think it might just be... I'm sorry, to be honest, apologies if the editing is a bit scruffy on this one. I had about 8 or 9 hours and about 50 different clips. I've just tried to figure out which one I want. Yeah, I ended up thinking I had a glitch and all sorts. Anyway, this water level's gone down. That little island with trees on it, bear that in mind, because I ended up building a bridge later there. But yeah, I didn't realise straight away that the water level was going to go back up and whatever, so I've kind of had to go back through footage and just pick little bits out that just kind of demonstrates what I'm talking about. So on the other side, like opposite me, you can see there's now a bit of land exposed and it's split those two bodies of water apart. And again, the water is sitting a lot lower on the dam at the minute. And then next issue, this road, you see that little yellow patch that it's already got drawn into it? Where it's got like red dots that join the road up, you'll see there's two yellow lines, and the game is thinking there's a bit of road already built, and again it sets off like a chain of little glitches that kind of bite me. So as I've sent them off the AI thing, the bowhead is dumping sand, and obviously it's got to that point, the road is turning yellow, those two lines, the further the dump truck goes. So I didn't really think anything of it. It's another glitch separate to the water going down, where I thought I didn't realise at the time, so when I looked back, what must be happening is the game thinks that little patch I've just gone over is already sanded. So the bowhead didn't sand that little patch, and then because of that, the dozer didn't have enough sand to flatten it across, so the paver then couldn't pave it, and then the roller couldn't roll it. And that made me partly paranoid, but then there's another thing as well. I'll sort of get into it. It's like a triple whammy. So I end up quitting and reloading. That may have caused the issue with the water. Worst case, it's not the end of the world with the water, but my level has gone back up. So yeah, as you can see there, all the rest of the vehicles missed it because that stupid little patch, and that's the section that the game was just, before I ever touched the road, for whatever reason, it was just already drawn yellow. So yeah, it skipped that. So I had to go back, manually do it all, which I don't mind, because obviously the equipment's right there anyway, but it makes me a bit worried about, like, is the mission working properly? And then it confused me as well on top of that. At the top right corner at the minute, build a road to deliver the failed pump components, and it says infrastructure build road. For some reason, I got confused and slightly like worried that it might be a glitch. got here, and it does now say I can see infrastructure built and all that, and it changes the mission to build a road to deliver failed pump components, but now it says infrastructure route. Mine, I'm pretty sure, was stuck on... It still was saying I need to build a road, but it wasn't offering me the route. But then eventually it did offer me the route. I kind of probably have cut ahead a little bit now, because I'd tried redoing the mission a couple of times, so I quit and reloaded, repaved the road. And yeah, it was all being a bit weird. But then in the meantime... sorry, after I built that road anyway, I've now got to draw an AI line, and like I said, eventually I got it unlocked and I found it and all the rest of it. You've got to go from the pumping station to the machine yard, so you may as well build a bridge across there, because they're AI vehicles, so... They are Vorons, to be fair, so you don't have to... yeah, you don't have to go as crazy as you would with like the semi-trucks. So I decided to give this thing another go. Just give it another chance, because it sucked pretty bad for me yesterday. This game, you do spend a ridiculous amount of time catching your chin and your chassis on stuff. Given the nature of the game, I wish they would round off and smooth off like the chassis and all the rest of it. Yeah, so I got 4 logs, because I already had them in storage. I think for completing that mission building the dam for that guy, I was awarded 9 logs, so I already had 9, just grabbed 4 of them. Yeah, drove over here, built that. And that's now, well, you see that like hole I drove into, I didn't realise at the time that that was also there, so I'm going to go and fix that at some point. I only left this bit in the end because it was kind of not doing too well getting up here, but once it got over those rocks, and then you could see the rear axles rocking and that, and I don't know, just thought it was quite a good bit of footage to kind of show you how that thing handles climbing up those rocks, for example. Yeah, didn't do as terribly as I thought. It sort of pulled it back a little bit at the end. Yeah, so then at some point, now I've noticed, hang on a minute, like all my water level's gone back up. The dam and everything, I didn't realise when I was getting this footage that that was the same height anyway, because I'd built the dam. But yeah, there's various patches of terrain that became exposed that are now flooded with water yet again. Like there was, that's now all what joined together. This Watergate is all flooded with water again, which was the same height as when I plucked all that sort of stuff out. You can see the water line on the dam is higher, and then in the background, yeah, that looked like it's connected back up with the water. So I don't know what that's about. A bit of a shame, because I didn't get much chance to look around when it was drained, because obviously I just assumed like it would be drained. Certainly, like I would have had a chance to look before I could start some of the missions, but obviously from doing the quit and reload, it again, I don't even know if it was that triggered it. Even if it is, it shouldn't be, because a quit and reload is basically I've turned the game off and turned it back on, so if that's the case, then it probably would have glitched and bit me at some point anyway. Yeah, came and filled this hole in, that's what she said. Got it sort of, did a few goes, again the bowhead was getting stuck and all sorts. So then I've got to draw the line from, yeah, this pumping station, and basically using a few different roads. So that's the road I built that I thought was glitched. There's the dip that I just patched. I do go down there with a paver and all that. I just haven't done it at the minute. Yeah, that's the bridge I built. It gives me a nice clean run into the machine yard, and that's what was getting me thinking tonight. I've ended up building some forest roads because I want a nice little road network going on this game, because we've got like the base in the bottom right, and then we built some roads, and that helps connect towards the dam and all the rest of it. By the way, yeah, this sends Vorons, so again, they're fairly simple. I nearly had that as a thumbnail again. I just thought I may as well put my forest road thing in there. Objective complete, you get 1,000, and you get 10 fuel. That's kind of handy at the minute. And then, yeah, Kelly's back. Now I have to finish a road. When she said that, it made me laugh. Genuinely, I mentioned it a week or 2 ago. I can't even remember. I said, oh, I might build a racetrack on one of the maps. And yeah, she just sort of mentions it there. I don't know if she's being serious or it will ever give you the chance, but yeah. By the way, before then I got, like, I suppose that was probably yesterday, and then this was tonight. I needed to, for science, to come and test out this, I don't know, I called it like the Lynx Road, but I have to call it Tokyo Loaf Road. Yeah, you drift on this, and I think it's pretty cool actually, because if you go in fast enough and you hoof it in like that, it's basically like your vehicle doesn't have enough time to dig into the mud, it skims over the top. I also did that little jump I found just to see, just in case that was like one of these random hidden achievements. Yeah, as you head down, you can see if you're going quick enough and you kind of drop it sideways, it's actually getting some nice little drifts, sort of semi-controllable ones on the go. This guy, the amount of times he got in the way, like it shouldn't be statistically possible for him to block me the amount of times he did. I was half tempted to cut these tree stumps out of the way. I had a cutter just around the corner. I still might, but they're also handy because you kind of drift and bounce off them and then carry on down the road. Right, so this is the forest route I want to build because I've now just connected up like the machine yard to that pumping station. My original base is connected to the dam. So I could really do with a road going from the bottom right over towards, I suppose, the second base you unlock, heading towards the machine yard, basically. So I found this island, and this is what I mean. All this water was lower before, whereas it's now back to where it originally was. So, not that it really matters, because I think my bridge would have ended up about the same height and whatnot anyway. But yeah, sort of, I was umming and ahhing whether to restart the map entirely, but then I've got to catch up like 2 or 3 nights worth of missions and then do another night's worth of missions and then edit that. So I'd end up missing a night really, or I'd have to absolutely go flat out with it. Yeah, so I started heading out of my base, just peeling off to the left of like the first road we started building near the base. Come through a sand quarry, there's a little bit of a steep hill here. There's actually 2 choices of roads you could use. You can see there's almost like already tracks sort of dug through the forest, but they're all a bit muddy and all the rest of it. And to be fair, I didn't need to completely go mad and build roads everywhere, but it is what it is. Originally I thought, I'm running pretty damn late tonight, because I already had the footage for the most part. I kind of figured I can afford to sort of mess around a bit tonight, and yeah, that's just something I wanted to do. I was looking around on this map. I did on Sojourn. I filled in the concrete slabs facility and so on, and yeah, I just kind of picking different sort of large-scale projects I can chip away at whilst I'm on the map, whilst I'm doing other things. I don't necessarily have to get them all done in one night. For this particular bit I did, but I'm not necessarily done with my road network yet. This is just connecting up really the tunnel base to the machine yard. Yeah, so started laying a load of sand, smoothed some of it out, brought the this tree stump thingy, whatever it's called, down, built a couple of bridges. It's just easier to like, yeah, chop the logs and just load it straight into the yellow bridge square, so you don't have to bring a crane and do all that sort of stuff. And then yeah, you can see now it just gives me a clean run. There's quite a nice little entrance there. Yeah, that's what she said. Into the machine yard, so it's quite a nice smooth run. Yeah, flattening out. You can see my dozer off, dumper off to the left. I kind of did peel the start of a road off, but I didn't get it all done. And yeah, there's a little look in the forest. That's the thumbnail I ended up going for. I did come back for 1 or 2 drifts, but they're pretty quick. I wanted to leave it in one because I was having a bit of fun doing it, but yeah, might be a few others that want to at least test around. It's another concept of the physics of the mud going on that I was kind of interested in prodding around to see what I can figure out. Yeah, Tokyo Loaf was enjoying it. Slap that log, and then I think, yeah, I believe this is the last one. I just needed to get a nice one, nice good angle, turn the camera around. Look at that horse. Tokyo Loaf is back in action. Yeah, I mean, I'll be doing more of that. Right, that was kind of to tell me, okay, get on with the video. Right, so the mission I want to do is repair damage from the piping system failure. This is the road I've built, so it comes out my garage. I built both lanes because I couldn't decide which one, and I had enough time. There's my bridge going across, and yeah, that's a nice clean run in there. So now I've got roads going all the way up to the dam, and that kind of branches out. I've also got a nice road coming across here, and this mission I want to do, one, I've got to reach that location, and in there is 4 steel pipes. 2 of them I need to fix that one, which is weird, you kind of have to go round, and then that pipe, which is very high in the air. So long story short, you're going to need a crane, preferably the top crane. I can't remember off Epic something, but it's got the tallest reach. You'll see. I'll get it out soon. That's what I said. Right, so here's a little drive down the finished road. The reason it's not very smooth, the dozer was being a bit of a dick tonight. Every little rock it hits, it was like, even in sand flattening mode, was kind of pushing deeper in the ground. And I went back and forth, like, I dumped the sand, smoothed the road with the dozer, patched loads of stuff with the dumper again, went back with the dozer. It just would never get flat. It would always flatten one side more than the other, and then when you go back it'd flatten that side more, and then I just basically kept flattening it until I'd lost all the sand, and then go back with the dump truck, dump more sand, and yeah, it just eventually I was like, sod it, I'm sending the well, basically I'm not necessarily finished. I now that I've tarmacked it and flattened it, I could in theory pour sand on top of this and have a better effort of getting, like, you see how deep it goes to the side. Don't know, that, by the way, it gives me a Destruction Derby 2 vibe, something about that little 1 second of looking around at that road coming down. I don't know why, but anyway. Yeah, some of the sections of sand were like 10 foot deep or whatever, so when you're trying to smooth it all out with a dozer, sometimes the dozer just starts digging its own level a lot deeper into the sand. Now I've paved it all, in theory, I probably could do a thin sprinkling of sand on top of the road. I'll have to repave it again, but I've probably got a hell of a lot more chance of getting it all completely smooth, so if I get time I might experiment with, like, seeing how smooth I can get the road, but worst case it's, yeah, a nice route through the forest now. It's not going to be any hassle, pretty much every vehicle. This thing struggled climbing up a little hill, as usual. It's got, like, a severe lack of torque going on. Yeah, so reach this location in the machine yard, grab 2 of the 4 pipes, and then now I basically head into the same place. See the road building logo that's like 650 odd meters on the left of the screen? But basically drive in towards that. Right next to that is where one of the pipes need fixing. And obviously, yeah, the third part of the mission is to fix that road. So I'm using this road, which I've also patched up for that AI mission I did. That's the road I thought was glitched that we built. That's the road it wants me to build. A lot of road building. Just for what it's worth, I just left this little bit in. I sent the Bicycle to do it. For whatever reason, he's being some kind of annoying wiggly worm. He's not really driving properly. I don't know why he's swerving around everywhere. And then right at the end, I'm not entirely sure what he's got stuck on. A little bit of a lightweight on that one. Thankfully, I had just enough by the grain to make it click over to being a yellow road, so I could send all the next sections. But yeah, apart from that, it's pretty simple. All I would do is either send, maybe try the Taiga. It might have just been the articulation with the dump truck, and once he sort of got up on a peak, it rocked the articulation off to the side and whatnot. Yeah, so there's that bridge I built, like the first one that I used that log grabber thing to take 4 logs. Again, that's the section I've patched up. This is the glitch road. Funnily enough, years ago in Isle of Man, me and my brother were driving around the back roads and someone was coming the other way, and we had a bit like that on the mountain where the back end skidded out like that half down the ditch, and we sort of did a drift round the corner. It was, yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. The person coming the other way was doing the same thing, driving like a lunatic, because the chances of seeing a car coming the other way on some of those roads are slim to none, but we happened to meet on the dodgiest corner going. Yeah, so right, where I am now is like, I've just built that road, is basically behind me, and this is the pipe it wants fixing. I was only using the mule to bring them here. I knew for it already before I even started this mission that the mule wasn't going to reach this pipe. It was just because, you know, otherwise I'll have to try and balance 2 pipes on this thing, or get it wedged under the crane or whatever. See, again, that's catching its chin, like, I want to glance off solid ground, like, more than I just keep infinitely digging into it. Like, you just can't fight back against it, because it's just like hitboxes that, yeah, it's sort of back to like the coding of the game that's making it all happen is like fighting against you, so it's not as simple as just bumping off the mud. I got the pipe out of the mule ready. I knew I was going to have to drop it and pluck that broken one out, but just so I didn't have to then move the crane back over to the left. For some reason, it was doing this a lot tonight as well, where it keeps flash blinking the to be able to grab something, and it's like it's not always working. Getting a few little odd bugs going on at the minute, which makes me think there might be tinkering with things behind the scenes. Maybe it's became a bit unstable as they're testing things out. And got the other pipe off the mule. And yeah, now I've got to take this again. You can see, like, I'm about to climb back up onto that road I just built. You basically got to go into the sand quarry. There is a couple of different ways you could do it. To be honest, I started messing around quite a bit for about an hour or two. Trying to balance along some pipes and all sorts of stuff. Just more messing around. I kind of knew... Well, I thought I had time, but then I didn't realise I had like 9 hours and 50 different clips to try and edit through. I didn't quite realise how many clips I'd saved until I came to edit it. So yeah, I figured I had like an hour or two to mess around. Didn't really get very far with the messing around. I did have a little bit of another glitch later as well, again. Nothing crazy, but it wouldn't fill the dump truck, which made some of this mission a little bit more awkward than it needed to be. So one way you could go, if I peeled off to the left now and went up that steep hill between those trees, you could drive along the bank and get like, it's sort of basically like just ahead of where I cut with a crane, there's this big fat hole in the ground. So I sent in the dump truck then, but it keeps saying cannot, I'm not within the radius of a quarry, even though I was within the radius of 2 quarries, and then I even recovered the dump truck somewhere, and that was in the radius of another different quarry, and it still was saying the same thing. So I drove the crane down here, got my nose stuck, tried going round wide here just to sort of get out of get past that section. You see it like the very top of the screen, there's like that bank running above me. That's where you could in theory drive along there and probably just cut a little bit of this out. The nose got stuck again, so I went back like attempt number 2, and thankfully the dumper, for whatever reason, just 5 minutes later it was working fine as normal again. So I dumped a load of sand there, but then the dumper kept getting stuck because it's fat chin. So I didn't even bother bringing, I was sort of like, fuck it, I'm just sending the crane again. And at this point, when you cut across here, if you look to the left, there's like a big patch missing out the ground that you could also do with filling. But I wanted to try, and when I got here I realised like how much taller the ground was, but I thought I could drive up here and jump off like the little, well, I was thinking a little ledge, but it's more like a mini cliff. However, one thing I did do that I was happy with, I thought, right, I'm aiming for those barrels because I'll probably stub my chin on the ground, but if I hit them, this might happen, and it did. It worked pretty nicely. It sort of pole vaulted my chin over the top of those barrels, which kept the front of my truck moving, so I didn't just get stuck diagonally with my crane arse sticking up in the air. Got about as close as you can get to drowning this thing. You could see, I don't know if I left a good shot in, but from the bird's eye view, you could sort of tell there is a bit of a path looping around here, but obviously it's some vehicles with a lower snorkel will struggle a bit. Can you see my mule in the background? I forgot I left that on there. Like, I was trying to drive the mule along these pipes, but they're just, yeah, it was a bit ridiculous. So I ended up obviously, yeah, driving around this way. Get that thing out. I can live in the water now, like broken pipe. And the amount of rain in this map again, it's like just a few times tonight I was trying to get bits for like a thumbnail, and I was waiting 10-15 minutes for it to stop raining, and it just wouldn't. So they need new valves. I don't really like it how it sort of doesn't pop up saying objective complete necessarily, and it just sort of jumps ahead to another semi-related mission, but it's not the same mission. It changes the title of the mission. I sort of think that's a little bit, I'd rather it just cash out kind of halfway between, or just bunch it in as one mission. But it says I've got to find some valves up here. I'm not doing it tonight. It looks like the valves are in the train car, so they shouldn't be too hard, but it's going to make me go and find them. And this patch as well, by the way, I sent this in later. But anyway, that's about it for today. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf because he's a beast, and I'll be back soon.